Free agency day 4, a little bit of steam blown off. Not as much steam as compared to day 1 anyway. Jason brings up, I just saw that too. New wide receiver in Trent Sherfield. Had not heard of him until just now. It seems like he's going to be a camp body. He's done 6 years in the league, most of his time with Arizona. The most productive year he's had, I'm guessing he's a special teams guy or just an end of the bench receiver, but the most productive year he's had was with the Miami Dolphins in 2022, 30 catches, 417 yards, and 2 scores. But I mean, respect to him. I don't think it's anything worth raising hell about. But D tackle, I said it. Kwesi Adofo-Mensah, the apology video is ready to upload. Eric Armstead or DJ Reader, make it happen. Well, we signed a D tackle, all right. His name is Jerry Tillery from the Vegas Raiders, recently released by Vegas. Before that, with the LA Chargers, former first-round pick, 28th overall in 2019, has not lived up to the expectations that a first-rounder typically brings. He went from a starter to the last 2 years being demoted to a rotational guy. In the last 2 years, even just as a rotational guy, still played in 32 games. The last 2 years, single-digit pressures in each of the last 2 seasons, 2 whole-ass tackles for losses the last 2 years combined. 952 snaps he played the last 2 years. So I would say, after celebrating the release of Dean Lowry, the Vikings essentially cut Dean Lowry to then sign the second coming of Dean Lowry. I certainly hope that this isn't, it appears, because it's over with. DJ Reader, Eric Armstead is gone. Armstead, he's signing with the Jacksonville Jaguars, 3 years, $51 million, to which I say, okay, all right. I can understand avoiding that because you do want to get younger. That's evidently what the Vikings want to do, especially on defense. However, you want to get younger and better at the same time. So you were left with older guys like Eric Armstead and DJ Reader, but 3 years, $51 million, that's a little bit too much. Cool. Not going to eat your lunch for that. DJ Reader, man, he's signing with the Lions. It's a 2-year deal worth up to $27.25 million. But get this, just over $9 million guaranteed. Kwesi. It was right there. Right there. You couldn't make that work. Wow. Now, Tillery, he's getting a 1-year deal up to $3.75 million. It appears that it's going to be a battle royale between him, Jonathan Bullard, and Jacalen Roy. So that's it. I mean, there's no other quality, unless you guys can let me know in the chat right now. I don't think there's any other quality interior defensive lineman out there. Like, this is it. They'll address it in the draft, sure, but that apology video, it's going to have to wait a year. That's all I'm saying. Odin says Trent Sherfield. Yeah, I talked about him in the beginning. I think he's going to be a camp body, nothing more than that. Chris says we couldn't pay Armstead what the Jags are paying him. I agree. Yeah, I wish we could have made a deal for one of those guys, but I mean, Kwesi Adofo-Mensah hit on about 90% of needs in free agency on the defensive side of the ball, so you got to give that to him. Now, switching gears here, man, I never thought in my wildest dreams that the very first contribution of Kirk Cousins to the Atlanta Falcons is not a win, not a touchdown pass, but a tampering investigation. Dude, all you got to do, first off, we know that tampering is happening. It always happens, especially when you consider when the negotiation period opens up and deals get agreed to 10, 15 minutes afterwards. We know that tampering is happening. Just like on colleges and university campuses, it's filled with students that are drinking underage. Everybody knows it. But if one of them gets drunk enough to where they dial 911 and they're like, hey, dude, hey, Popo, we're getting lit up at this frat house. You guys should come join us and party. Beers aplenty. Well, then they're going to show up. You're inviting trouble to you. All Kirk Cousins had to do was just keep his mouth shut and just do the status quo thing. Hey, we feel that Atlanta is best for our family. We hope to bring a championship here, and I hope to retire as an Atlanta Falcon. Just all the status quo stuff. Bam. Instead, this dude goes flapping his gums. Hey, guys, I met with the athletic trainer, talked with him over the phone, which you can't do during the negotiation period. You can't do that. So now there's an investigation happening with the Atlanta Falcons. And if I'm the Vikings, hey, let me tell you something right now. I'm feeding all into that. I am playing the ultimate victim with that. Oh, this man last year, he got hurt. Even though we were 4-4, he was playing MVP caliber football. This is one of the best quarterbacks in the league, statistically speaking. Top 10, probably towards 10, but I digress. And we were hoping to bring him back and take another run at this thing and hopefully win a championship. And we didn't even get a fair shot. Atlanta, he's talking to the athletic trainer with the Falcons. Oh, we had to settle for Sam Darnold. Can you believe this? Whatsoever are we going to do now? I think what's only fair is that we swap first round picks 11-8 because we are just so sad right now. Are you kidding me? All you had to do was shut the hell up, Kirk. That man pulled a 4th and 8 on his own press conference, just fumbling the bag. Dog, come on. Rick Logg says we need to push this tampering thing. Absolutely. I want vengeance. I demand vengeance. This man's you weren't even there for 5 minutes. And now the Falcons are having to decline comment until the investigation is complete. They can't even celebrate all the way. They're like, bro, you haven't even played a snap yet. And you're effing up like this? That's crazy. Hugh Yang says, bad news. My brother Kwesi and O'Connell ain't thinking about drafting a quarterback. Why? Because they said that in the presser they did earlier today. They're not going to give their plans out for the rest of the league to see. Of course they're going quarterback. And those press conferences, quite honestly, like players outside of Kirk Cousins, players, leadership, coaches, front office execs, they don't say anything. They don't. They get up there and they do word salad. They say technically a bunch of words without saying anything at all. But no, him saying, oh, well, we're not locked in to going after a quarterback, and I don't believe in the word bridge, and Sam Darnold, we believe in him, and yeah. They're never going to give their full plans out. Chris says, give us their first 3 picks for our suffering. We had to settle for Sam Darnold. Like, Kirk, how could you screw this up? How could this? We got a whole rehab plan together, and Stacy that works in the Chick-fil-A at Mercedes-Benz Stadium, the one that's closed on Sundays, giving me the hookup. After every practice, we can go upstairs, the whole team, and get free spicy Chick-fil-A deluxe sandwiches. I talk to everybody. Harden LSOS says we should get Kinlaw. Javon Kinlaw, I'll pass. Then again, beggars can't be choosers at this point. Look what we got. I mean, Jerry Tillery, Jonathan Bullard, Jacalen Roy. It's not great. I mean, it couldn't hurt to get another body for a Hell in a Cell match at interior defensive line. That's even if he's still available, Javon Kinlaw. He's just such a disappointment coming out of South Carolina. Brandon says, oh, he signed with the Jets. Oh, thank goodness. I'll take that. Rick says they have discussed our needs in detail. I believe they have a strategy in mind, whatever it is. The good thing about the offseason is, I mean, we're done with any major moves that are going to be made in free agency, but we still have the draft to go. And that's where, man, if you can figure out a way to get a top 3 pick, Washington, they traded Sam Howell to Seattle, I believe. So you can go ahead and be assured that they're going to take a quarterback, and they've been linked to Jaden Daniels heavy. So unless we can trade up to the first pick with Chicago, which I don't know what they're doing at quarterback. Justin Fields, then again, it seems like the league doesn't want Justin Fields. I don't know what's happening there, but it appears, for now anyway, that Jaden Daniels to the Vikings is far-fetched. So we got to set our sights on Drake May. I think the Patriots are still a viable option to trade up for. Gareth Phillips, Randy, love hearing from you each video you post. I appreciate that, Gareth. Would you rather have Drake May or JJ McCarthy? Drake May. He's my QB1. JJ McCarthy, I'm fine with as QB4. But taking a guy or taking McCarthy ahead of guys that are, let's say, hypothetically still available, Daniels and May, I'd lose it, quite honestly. But I'm okay with McCarthy. But Drake May over McCarthy. Chris says, shout out to DJ One. Where did he go? DJ One. I think he was supposed to meet with, I can't remember. He's supposed to meet with somebody. Oh, Carolina. Because they lost out on Brian Burns, right? Didn't he sign someone? See, now I'm all. Is that their consolation prize? Brian Burns went to. They traded him to the Giants. So that's their consolation prize. DJ won him. Okay. Is the Faithful says, I guarantee you Aaron Jones signed with the Vikings out of spite to the Packers, and I love it. Oh, absolutely. I talked about that, I think, the live stream I did 2 days ago. He absolutely has vengeance on the mind. He wants to get back after him. The same way Brett Favre wanted revenge on the Packers. And who knows? We don't get a quarterback. Let's say we lose out on JJ McCarthy. You got to settle on a run-of-the-mill quarterback this draft. Aaron Rodgers might want revenge too. Just saying. It is written. Notorious Packers players, when they leave, they're pissed off. They come to the Vikings. Jason says, some peeps on ESPN have said some clubs have JJ number 3 on their draft boards ahead of May. Anybody that has JJ McCarthy ahead of Drake May on their draft board should be fired. What are we doing here, man? I think JJ McCarthy could be good. He really could be. I'm not blaming the fact that Michigan is a run-first team and they didn't ask much of him, but the throws that he did make, I'm telling you, the throws he makes on the run are NFL-worthy throws. He can be a good player, but to say that JJ is ahead of Drake May that's wild. Could not disagree more. Brandon, keep up the great content, Randy. Appreciate that. I'm a Niners fan, and I still watch all your content. Hey, thanks. Thanks, Brandon. That means a lot. How you feel about losing Eric Armstead? I know he's not the same guy that he once was, but I know he was a fan favorite. I used to work not far from Levi Stadium off Bowers Avenue. When I last worked for the man. Skull Affiliated says the media all of a sudden loves Kirk Cousins. I mean, whenever he's a free agent, yeah, he's going to be the talk of free agency. Goes anytime when a player with some sort of cachet goes to a new team, it's exciting league wide. So I get it. But that love will run out very shortly. It might have ran out already with him snitching on himself or the Falcons without ever throwing a pass. Can you get through a practice? Oh, we got a whole rehab program developed, dog. I talked to an athletic trainer yesterday during the negotiating period. Shoot. Blue 350Z says, why is the description about Troy Dye getting drafted? Because I'm an idiot. I don't know why that's the default description when I'm doing these videos, but I normally remember to delete it and then put in whatever it is I'm about to talk about. But I just forgot this time because I'm an idiot. I hope that answers your question, Blue. Yeah. Devin says, you think we should sign Chase Young? No. I think we're good with the edge rushers that we got. And quite honestly, Chase Young, he still needs to prove himself worthy. He's probably going to get a respectable contract that's going to eat away at some cap. Nothing that's going to break the bank, but it's still going to be significant. And I don't think between injuries and just being inconsistent, I don't think that it's worth going after him because he's probably going to ask for a little bit too much than he's worth. That's my opinion. But quite honestly, even if I did want the Vikings to do it, it seems like they're done with all the big signings that they're going to do. Signing Jerry Tillery while DJ Reader and Eric Armstead were out there waiting, and then they got swooped up one after the other. But Chase Young, no. And you're probably going to have to give him a 2 or 3 year deal. This is one of those things where if you're going to sign a player for a decent amount of money for multiple years, you got to make sure that he's going to be worth it because you're going to have over $100 million available next year. Are you really going to feel good knowing that Chase Young is going to eat up some of that? I wouldn't. Not I, said the cat. Is the faithful, where did Sherfield play last year? He played for the Buffalo Bills last year. He had 11 catches, 86 yards, and a touchdown. I think he's a camp body or somebody that's going to play on special teams. Yeah, they signed Trent Sherfield not too long before I started this live stream, but there's nothing there. I think the big moves are done, so now they're just trying to fill out the rest of the roster, as much of the rest of the roster as they can through free agency before the draft comes. Who knows if he even makes the team? Talking about Sherfield. Chris says, are we re-signing Reisner? At this point, I'd be shocked if they did. Which I saw that he tweeted out, he basically made a campaign for himself on Twitter saying, it actually not even, let me not paraphrase it. Let me read exactly what he said. And I think it's a shame that he even has to do this because he's a quality player. Like, he's a good player. He shouldn't have to throw out the arguments for a team signing you on Twitter. I was like, man, that's a stinker. Let me see. Where is it? Okay. He tweeted this out on March 12th. Today's the 14th, so this was 2 days ago, right? Yep. Okay. This was 2 days ago. Just in case anyone was wondering, I've started 73 games over 5 years in the league, missing only 4 games due to injury, earning the starting spot amongst 3 different coaching staffs. I've never asked for a bag, simply just a starting guard contract. Why? Like, it's a shame that he has to do that. Like, I'm not blaming him. Clearly, like, he's not getting the, I guess, the contacts from teams that he was hoping he would. But it's crazy. And the Vikings, how come they didn't re-sign him? I mean, you got rid of Ezra Cleveland, which you should have done anyway, because he's not a left guard. I saw the money that Jacksonville gave him, and woo! But the way this man has to fight on social media to stay in the league, I don't think that's right. And he had a very good year too. D. Williams says it must be something wrong with him or something. If there is, I'd love to know what it is. Because all I see is a dude who knows how to play. Jay Jettis says, Justin Fields to the Vikings. How would you feel about that if the Bears get really desperate? Which that is a good point. If they're not getting any offers or the offers that they were hoping to get, and especially teams, they've been signing quarterbacks left and right. The pool is going to be thin. Says we could get him and for cheap, maybe a third and fourth or 2/4. I don't know. I wouldn't mind it because then it would be like, let's say, especially if you feel like you can't trade up, especially you need to get ahead of the Giants because it seems like they want to go after a quarterback this year, which it's in real time. You remember, what was it? It was last off season. And this was after the Vikings, they lost to the Giants, whatever. Anyway, last offseason. All throughout ESPN, it was nonstop until it got done, just coverage on Daniel Jones. And, they need to pay him. Or what are they going to do? Contract negotiations. And I'm like, what is he, Jesus? This dude stinks. No, they got to pay him. Oh, they got to pay. 15 touchdown passes. They gave this dude 2 years, $82 million guaranteed. And a year later, they're like, yeah, we shouldn't have done that. Bro, I can be a GM. I could have warned the Giants ahead of time. Don't do it. What is wrong with you? Well, we have to. Now you're looking for a quarterback a year later? That's wild, man. Where was I going with this? Either way, you got to get ahead of the Giants because they're probably going to want a quarterback. But let's say if you're unable to and you want to at least make it more interesting than Sam Darnold, at least have a legit quarterback battle in training camp, sure, why not? But not we don't even have a third. I wouldn't even do a future third. I wouldn't do 2/4. I would do a fourth. Take it or leave it. I wouldn't mind it. Only as a last resort, though. Brandon says Ed Donatel better have a good percentage of that Jones contract. Yeah, that's the thing. He got that contract because he had 2 good games against the Vikings that year. Like the Giants were really stressing out over Daniel Jones. I was like, I'd give him $5 with $2 guaranteed over 3 years. I said what I said. Daniel Jones. Jaggy says, I just want to talk to y'all about Aaron Jones. Gets injured a little bit, but I wish him the best, and I hope he does well for y'all. But I feel like my Packers did the right move for the future. Fair enough. I mean, he's healthy. He's a beast, man. Let's look at his stats from that playoff run. Aaron Jones stats 4.6 yards per carry last year in the regular season. But if he can stay healthy, I mean, he's clearly the RB1. This man gets after it. There we go. Postseason. That playoff run. He had, where are we? 2 games against Dallas in that blowout win, 48-32. He had 21 carries for 118, 3 TDs. Against San Francisco. They lost 21-24. They had a chance, man. They really had a chance to get to the NFC Championship game before Jordan Love threw that game-ending interception. 18 carries for $108. Hey. He just got to stay healthy. Just be healthy. And we set, man. Blue 350Z says Packers re-signed AJ Dillon. Don't tell me that. Did they really? No, they didn't. They did not re-sign AJ Dillon. Jaggy, is this true? Man, I got beef with AJ Dillon, man. I think I did a parlay at one point in the season, and Aaron Jones was hurt, and I said, oh, yeah, AJ Dillon, he's going to run it in. Man, this dude let me down. Lost money. The Tech Jedi says, Randy, what position did you play in football? You look like a long snapper guy. I didn't play any position. I went to a two-a-days training camp in high school once because I used to play street ball, pick up street ball, and I was really good. Not to toot my own horn, but I was pretty good as a receiver, and I thought I could carry that same talent and energy on an actual football field with pads and everything, and I just was not good enough. I was like, nope, this ain't for me. Nope. Tech Jedi says NFL Street starring Realistic Randy. Hey, that game was crazy. I loved that game. Chris says Eric Kendricks pulled at Anthony Barr on the 49ers and decided to sign with Dallas. Hey, I saw that and I just thought to myself, oh, Mike Zimmer. I saw Zimmer was pushing for that too. That's one of the many things with that guy where, it doesn't matter how over the hill a player is. Like when you're Zimmer's guy for life. This dude was probably protesting outside the stadium in Arlington, like, get Eric Kendricks over here. Oh, man. Yeah, I saw that. Zimmer. Zimmer's happy as hell. He did, bro. He was doing that with Anthony Barr. That was the one thing that pissed me off the most. I'm like, yo, he's not that good. Like, he's all right. Oh, we're not trading Anthony Barr. He's the glue to this defense. Eric Kendricks, at this stage in his career, could be the glue to this defense, even though you got Michael Parsons and DeMarcus Lawrence. Is the faithful, holy cow, I want to see that Cowboys versus Falcons game next year. Going to all A-gap blitz on Kirko. Oh, yeah. That's going to be the Mike Zimmer revenge game. He's going to throw the kitchen sink at him. Tycoon says we got Jerry Tillery, LFG. Are you really celebrating that? Like, I'm not trying to be negative, but it's Jerry Tillery is the new Dean Lowry. I hope he's not a starter. I hope that's not the plan. I'm hoping that it's just all right. We got to fill out the rest of the roster. We're gonna make some big moves, trying to trade up in the draft, and I don't know. I don't know what it is, but no, Jerry Tillery. Not I, said the cat. Too evil to hope, says Sam Darnold is the answer. Now it's time to trade JJ to the Bears for their 2 picks this year and another next year. I know there's a lot of people that are in the camp of trade Justin Jefferson. I just can't do it. I don't know if you're trolling Too Evil to Hope or what, but that's just not. I understand you'll get 2 first-round picks at least, a second-round pick, and then some. Like you'll get a haul for a player like that, but I just nah. Keep him unless he forces his way out. Man, it's actually, let's see if there's been any updates, any moves, anything. And as mentioned on the last live stream I did 2 days ago, I follow the Purple Persuasion at TPP Skull. They are on top of everything. And nope, nothing since Trent Sherfield. Which, I mean, quite honestly, you follow up Tillery with Sherfield, and yeah, that just confirms to me that they're done making big moves. Anything you see from here on out is going to be just fill out the roster. Harden says Calais Campbell for 1 year, draft JJ McCarthy and Fisk second round. I'd be down for that. That's a good plan. Josh Williams says, Randy, can you go live on draft day? I'm planning to. Tentatively, yes. Expect me to do it. It's going to be exciting. This is a big off season. Quarterback playoffs. Too evil to hope says no JJ Fart Carthy. Wow, damn. You just don't like him at all, do you? Blue 350, 2 mid picks back to back to end free agency is kind of a Vikings move. I don't think it's just isolated to the Vikings. I feel like all teams do this. They get their couple of big signings, and then after that, you got to get players. You got to have 53 guys. Well, going into training camp, 90 guys. Got to have players. Is the faithful too evil to hope thinks McCarthy is cheeks? No, he's not cheeks. No, he's good. I know he's not ready to be a starter out the gate, but he's good with good coaching. He could be solid. I think the hype is a little bit over the top for this guy, but I think I can see some upside there with him. Hiru, there's still work to be done. We have no starting right guard. Well, we do at Ingram. We don't have a starting left guard, though. We need more depth on the D line and need another defensive back. Yeah. I think if they had signed, I mean, DJ Reader, 2 years, $9 million guaranteed, just a bleep ton of incentives. I think it was like 27 and a quarter million up to mostly incentives. Like, damn. Quasi, you couldn't do that? I had the apology video ready to roll for you, baby. Josh says we still need a true nose tackle. I say get Sweat second round and trade this first and next year's first for Arizona's pick. Maybe that. Well, that way you ensure you get JJ McCarthy. But man, just the idea of trading up from this. I mean, McCarthy to me is a second round pick. He really is. And now we're talking about if you want him, you got to trade up for this guy. You're going to sacrifice a future first. Like, I know you're taking a gamble on quarterbacks, any player really with a high pick, but especially with giving up future capital. You better be right. Junks Buster says, I feel like we could have definitely gotten DJ. Yeah, for that contract. I'm wondering why that. And I didn't even see Reader's name attached to the Vikings at all. Like, you weren't even in the mix to have a conversation. Tycoon says, no need to trade up for a great quarterback. Will be available at pick 11. Well, the only one that will be there at pick 11 for sure will be Michael Penix Jr., in which case, if you take Michael Penix at 11, like, I'll just fall out the chair. He's definitely a second round guy. I think JJ McCarthy is too, but here we are. Skull TV says we only have enough cap to sign our class, and for the season, that's why we didn't sign him. I mean, but $9 million guaranteed. And I don't even know if that's just for this year, 2024, or if that's $9 million guaranteed spread out over 2 years. But I feel like $9 million, you could finagle something. Without the injuries, Penix would go top 6. I can see that being a concern. Junk says, will you be opposed to trading down draft picks? If you lose out on a quarterback, if you don't get one of the, we've been talking about top 3 this whole time, you miss out on the top 4 guys, you're unable to trade up, then yeah, trade down, stockpile, become the new, I can't believe I'm saying this, become the new Chicago Bears, where you trade down, you stockpile picks, get 2 first round with your first round pick next year, and then one you would get from another team, depending on how far down you trade. You could be sitting in a nice situation for Shadur Sanders in 2025. Skull TV's Bo Nix, so polarizing. Some call him the next Breeze. Some say the next Zach Wilson. Who is calling Bo Nix the next Drew Brees? Like, I want to know exactly who said that. Bo Nix is not good. Bo Nix might be worth a 5th round pick. No. Bro, I would draft this over Bo Nix. I would trust this notepad to do a better job of throwing intermediate to deep passes than Bo Nix. Can't do it. Let's see if there's any updates. Because if not, I mean, I guess we'll end this soon. Unless anything else just happened. Nope, nothing. Man, free agency has really died down. We'll do a couple more. Respond to a couple more of your thoughts. Too Evil to Hope says Randy Bo knows football. Yeah, all right. He knows screen passes and checkdowns. That's all he knows. It's crazy that he's even in the conversation. And that Chris Sims had Drake May as QB6 below Bo Nix, who I think he had at 4 or 5. Crazy. Brandon says, what are your thoughts on Andrew Booth going into this season? Well, interior defensive line is still a problem until it's not, which means that the corners are going to struggle again next year. I do believe that. The Frosty Dealer says Jaron Hall over Bo Nix. I would agree with that. Bo Nix is not good, dog. Like, I'm sorry. I've learned to not give definitive takes on who is 100% going to be good and who's going to be bad both ways. I've done a good job of refraining from that, but I can say with full confidence, at the risk of ending up on freezing cold takes, Bo Nix is not going to be good in the National Football League. He's not. What's the best way to contact you? DM on Twitter, I would say. Jaggy says this will be clipped if he is. Go ahead. I'm putting it all out there. Don't give a damn. Bo Nix. Man, and I saw that he had his pro day and the Vikings, nobody from the Vikings front office was in attendance, to which I say, good. I'm not traveling to see this dude. Oh, look at him. He's throwing these high velocity passes against broomsticks chasing him around while he's wearing shorts. My God. Man, please. Need a reaction video if Bo Nix ends up a Viking. Nah. I mean, no, definitely I would do one, but you can't. Like, I'm looking for a reason to celebrate Kwesi Adafo-Mensah right now. I think he had a strong start to free agency. That to then not make enough moves to free up enough cap to sign DJ Reader to that incredible team-friendly deal, to not do that, and then to follow that up with taking Bo Nix, and he's going to be the guy in waiting. Oh my God. I'm going to have to really restrain myself. Like, that's just, oh, I couldn't do it. I couldn't handle it. Come on, updates. Give me something. Yeah, I think this is it. Vikings free agency. This actually, let me do one more. Check out Bleacher Report. See if there's any other leaks besides the tampering investigation that's currently ongoing, which I hope, if we are able to get that swap 11 for 8, that would be amazing. That would be the greatest thing Kirk Cousins has ever achieved for the Vikings organization. Getting them a higher draft pick, even though he's no longer on the team. Nope. Trent Sherfield, that's going to be it. Any more thoughts? Any more? Blue 350Z says Bryce Huff said we were interested in him. In who? Bo Nix? I certainly hope not. Brandon Bryce Huff again. Oh, you guys are saying Bo Nix. Yeah, no. Too evil to hope. I appreciate what you do as a Vikings content creator, Randy. Any plans for more collaboration with Purple Daily? Maybe. I've just been doing my own thing for the last year and some change. There's a lot of, I'm taking on a big project for next season, content-wise, that I'm really excited about, which I'll get into that as the season gets closer. But we'll see as far as with Score North. We'll do one more. Hiru says these KOC body language readers on Twitter are hilarious. Even if Kirk did come back, we'd be stuck in purgatory. Not good enough. Not good enough / good to make playoffs. Not good enough to win a Super Bowl. I'm glad he's gone. Yeah, me too. But you know what? He's gone. Kirk, he's gone. I don't want to continue to rag on the guy and just kick him while he's down. Actually, not even kick him while he's down. He's sitting pretty high right now in the dirty, dirty South. So, all right. I think that's going to end it because free agency is officially dead. We're just going to sign vet minimum rosters to fill out, or vet minimum players to fill out the rest of this roster. But any other moves happen, I'll do a reaction video. Thank you guys for joining this live stream, and we'll see you next time.